I never wanted to miss a game. Somebody paid to see me play. That's all the motivation I need. Just like that, the silence of the modern NBA is broken. No PR filters, no analytics, no load management excuses. Just Michael Jordan, the face of great
through.
It started as a simple question, a casual NBC interview. A broadcaster asked Jordan what he thought about load management, the modern practice of sitting out games to preserve the body.
Third game of the season.
Didn't hesitate, didn't flinch, didn't even blink. It shouldn't be needed, he said. I never wanted to miss a game. The fans came to see me. The guy way up top, the one who worked all week for that ticket. I wanted to impress him. That's the line that shook. Not courtside celebrities, not sponsors. The man in the nosebleeds who sacrificed a week's worth of work to see. That was his why. That was his fuel. Jordan didn't play for comfort. He played for confrontation. The louder the hate, the harder he played. If someone was yelling at me from the stand, not arrogance, that's obsession. The kind that made him legendary. Because to Jordan, every game mattered. Every moment was sacred. He wasn't preserving his body. Jordan spoke. Three men listened closely. Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady. Three players who lived through the grind, who knew what it meant to give. Carmelo was first to speak. He smirked, a little nostalgic, a little humbled. It's hard coming from MJ to talk about load management, he said. He wanted to compete every day, every possession, and that's the truth. Jordan didn't just play the game. He hunted it. He'd lace up for 82 straight, then destroy you in the playoffs without blinking. Then Vince Carter chimed in, the man who literally outlasted generations. When I came into the league, Vince said, you were expected to play 75, 80 games. If you played less, people looked at you different. Not soft, but close. That word, soft, hung in the air because everyone knew what it meant. Back then, you didn't ask for rest. You earned respect. Vince remembered the Iron Men, Stockton, Malone, Ewing. They didn't rest. They endured. Their reward wasn't money. It was pride. Then came Tracy McGrady, quiet, thoughtful, honest. Do I wish I had load management? Yeah, I didn't get enough years in my prime. Injuries took that from me. T-Mac wasn't making excuses. He was sharing pain. His body betrayed him long before his love for the game did. And still, he said the same thing. If you're healthy, you play. Simple as that. Three voices, three eras, but all pointed to the same truth. The one Jordan had already carved in stone. You show up, every night, every time. Something's changed. Somewhere between sneakers and signatures, the soul of the game got lost. Today's players aren't wrong for wanting longevity. But when did preservation replace passion? Back then, 82 games was a badge of honor. Now it's a burden, a reason to sit, to rest, to coast. You've got players missing weeks with soreness. You've got teams protecting investments. You've got stars tweeting motivation instead of living it. The old heads didn't have brand managers. They had bruises. They didn't ice their bodies to last longer. They iced them to go again tomorrow. Carmelo said it perfectly. If you're hurt, sit. If you're good, play simple, real, accountability. And maybe that's what's missing now. Accountability. Because in Jordan's day, your presence mattered. You couldn't tweet your way out of criticism. You had to prove it, night after night, minute after minute. That's what forged legends. That's what built dynasties. Now, we have influencers instead of icons, highlight reels instead of history, and contracts bigger than courage. If Jordan was the blueprint, Kobe Bryant was the echo, the second coming of that mentality, forged in sweat, not strategy. He once said, you rest at the end, not in the middle. That's not a quote, that's scripture. Kobe didn't manage his load. He expanded it. He studied Jordan's every move, every mindset, every moment of defiance. Jordan once said that if someone paid to see him play, he owed them effort. Kobe lived that principle to his last game, dropping 60 points at age 37 on torn ligaments and bad knees. That wasn't about stats. That was about duty. He didn't play for clicks. He played for closure. He didn't save himself for next season, because greatness doesn't save itself. Kobe proved that Jordan's message wasn't just old school grit, it was timeless truth. When you play for something bigger than yourself, pride, purpose, legacy, the pain becomes fuel. That's what Jordan was talking about. That's what Kobe embodied. And that's what today's generation is forgetting. The game has evolved. Faster, flashier, richer. But with evolution comes temptation. Temptation to protect your brand more than your badge. To care more about deals than defense. To manage your schedule like a CEO instead of a competitor. Michael Jordan wasn't a brand first. He was a beast first. Nike didn't make him great. Greatness made Nike beg for him. Today's players reverse that order. They chase fame to validate their game, instead of letting their game create the fame. And it's not about hate, it's about hunger. Jordan didn't have days off. He had revenge nights. He didn't sit to recover, he played to retaliate. And he turned every critic into fuel. The truth is, today's NBA doesn't lack skill, it lacks sacrifice. The willingness to crawl through exhaustion just to prove a point, to stare pain in the face and say, I'm still showing up. That's the spirit Jordan misses. That's the fire he was calling out. Because when the game becomes about self-preservation, you stop chasing greatness and start negotiating it. Remember 1997, Game 5 of the Finals. Jordan barely standing, drenched in sweat, body failing, food poisoning, fever over 100. Every breath hurt, every step burned. But he played. He played because millions were watching. And more importantly, he knew what it meant to not show up. That's the difference between eras. Old school players feared losing respect. Today's players fear losing endorsements. In 2001, Jordan came back at 38 years old with the Wizards. No championships to chase, no dynasty left to protect. Just love. Love for the game that raised him. And when reporters asked why he was doing it again, his answer was simple. Because I can still compete. Not for cameras, not for glory, just to compete. That's what today's stars forget. You don't need motivation when you have obsession. Jordan's obsession was basketball. Yours should be too. Michael Jordan's message wasn't hate toward the new generation. It was a mirror, a challenge, a dare to remember what the game once stood for. The fans didn't fall in love with perfection. They fell in love with passion, with seeing someone risk everything for greatness. That's why they still talk about the flu game. That's why Kobe's 60 mattered more than a championship. That's why Jordan's words still echo decades later. He wasn't saying don't rest. He was saying don't hide. Don't duck the grind. Don't play scared. Because legends aren't built on maintenance. They're built on moments. Somebody paid to see me play. That's all the motivation I needed. That's the difference. Today, players get paid before they prove themselves. Back then, they earned the paycheck every night. Jordan didn't care about brand deals, cameras, or minutes restrictions. He cared about legacy, the kind written in blood, sweat, and tears. And maybe that's what we're missing. The Iron Man era wasn't about indestructibility. It was about responsibility. To the fans, to the jersey, to yourself. Because greatness isn't about how long you last. It's about how hard you push, even when you've got nothing left. Jordan's message isn't just to the players. It's to all of us. To anyone who's ever been tired, burned out, or ready to quit. To anyone who's ever thought, I'll do it tomorrow. Don't wait. Don't rest. Don't manage your load. Manage your heart. Because the real ones, they show up. Every day, every game, every battle, and when the lights go out and the crowd fades and your body breaks down, the only question left is, did you play? Because somewhere in the crowd, someone saved everything just to see you play. If you believe greatness doesn't rest, drop a comment below. Do you agree with Jordan's message, or has the game simply evolved? Hit like, share this video with someone who still believes in old school heart, and subscribe for more cinematic deep dives into the soul of sports. This is Above the Rim TV, where the game never rests.